They took my daughter, but they chose the wrong mother. I had just finished washing the breakfast dishes when the phone rang. At first, it was nothing unusual, a simple sound cutting through the quiet hum of a Thursday morning, the kind of quiet that only exists when your child's already left for school, and the day hasn't yet begun demanding things from you. The water still dripped from my hands as I glanced at the caller ID. Unknown number. Normally, I never answer those, but something, maybe instinct, maybe a mother's sixth sense, made my hand move before my mind could object. "Hello," I said, pressing the phone to my ear. There was silence at first. Then, a man's voice, rough and low, slid through the line like static. "Mrs. Walker." My heartbeat picked up instantly. "Yes, who is this?" "You don't need to know who I am," he said. His tone was cold, businesslike. "What you need to know is that we have your daughter, Emily." The sound of her name coming from a stranger's mouth made the air in my lungs freeze. My knees went weak. "What did you just say?" "We have her," he repeated, slower this time, as if speaking to a child. "She's with us. And if you ever want to see her again, you'll do exactly as we say." I felt my stomach drop. Emily, my 16-year-old daughter, my only child. She was supposed to be at school. I'd just watched her climb onto the yellow bus an hour ago. Her hair still damp from her shower, her favorite hoodie slightly oversized. She'd waved, smiling. "You're lying," I said, forcing steadiness into my voice that I didn't feel. "She's at school." The man gave a dark, humorless laugh. "Check your phone if you think I'm lying." My heart pounded as a new message buzzed in. I switched to the text, my hands trembling. It was a photo. Blurry, but clear enough. Emily tied to a chair, duct tape across her mouth, her eyes wide with fear. My hand flew to my mouth, stifling a scream. "What do you want?" I whispered. $200,000, he said flatly. "In cash. You have 6 hours. I don't have that kind of money." "Then you better find it," he snapped. "Because if you don't, the next photo won't look so friendly." The line went dead. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The kitchen seemed to shrink around me, every sound muffled except the echo of my heartbeat. I forced my legs to move, leaning against the counter for balance. Then, instinct kicked in. I called Emily's school. The secretary's voice was polite at first, and then changed when I asked if Emily had arrived. "No, Mrs. Walker. She never came in today." The words made the world tilt. I dropped the phone. No. I was a nurse. I'd spent years learning to stay calm in chaos, to think clearly when lives were on the line. But this wasn't just anyone's life. This was my daughter. I sat down, forced myself to breathe. I replayed everything, the voice, the words, the photo. Then something clicked. Behind Emily, in the photo, there was a sign, partially visible, rusted metal, faded letters. Olin's Garage. I knew that place. It was an old auto repair shop on the edge of town, shut down years ago after the owner was arrested for fraud. I grabbed my purse and keys, ready to run out the door, but stopped. No, I couldn't face this alone. I called the police. Detective James Miller arrived 20 minutes later. Mid-40s.com, eyes, sharp features. His voice carried quiet authority. The kind that made you trust him even before he earned it. "They'll likely call again," he said, after I'd told him everything. "Don't tell them you've contacted us. We'll trace it next time." He left 2 officers parked down the street, monitoring every call that came through. My phone sat on the table like a bomb waiting to go off. An hour passed, then another. Every tick of the clock was a stab to the chest. I kept glancing at the front door, half expecting Emily to walk in, laughing that it was all a prank. But reality was colder. Finally, the phone rang again. I froze. Detective Miller gave a slight nod. "Put it on speaker." I answered. "Hello." The same voice. "Do you have the money?" "I'm working on it," I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking. "You don't sound very convincing," he hissed. "You think we're playing games?" Then, faintly, I heard a muffled cry in the background. Emily's voice. My heart clenched. "Please," I whispered. "Just don't hurt her. Then get the money. We'll call with the drop location." The line cut again. Miller turned to his tech team. "We got a location ping. Industrial Park, Highland Avenue. The name made me look up. Colin's garage was there. We moved fast. Miller set up surveillance around the area while I stayed at the command post. The officers swept the bus route Emily took, and near her stop, we found her bracelet. The silver one she never took off. It was all real. Miller's jaw tightened. They didn't expect us to find that. We devised a plan. I would call the kidnapper back. Pretend I had the money. They'd give me a meeting point. Meanwhile, the police would follow silently. When the call came again, I was ready. I have it, I said quickly. Good. Route 19, near the old gas station. 30 minutes. Come alone. I agreed. Miller gave me a reassuring nod. The police were already setting up. My hands were shaking as I drove. Every second felt like an hour. The world outside blurred traffic lights, trees, faces. None of it mattered. When I saw the black van parked by the roadside, my heart nearly stopped. And then, I saw her. Emily. Blindfolded, hands tied, sitting inside. I gripped the steering wheel, tears burning behind my eyes. Now, Miller's voice shouted over the radio. The world exploded into motion. Police cars swarmed the area, lights flashing, officers shouting commands. The kidnappers tried to run 2 men in masks, one with a gun. A single gunshot rang out before the officers took them down. Then someone shouted, "She's safe." I ran before anyone could stop me. Emily stumbled from the van, crying, shaking, her voice breaking as she whispered, "Mom, you found me." I held her like I'd never let go again. The scent of her shampoo, the warmth of her against me. I didn't even realize I was sobbing until Miller's hand rested gently on my shoulder. "You did good, Mrs. Walker," he said softly. That night the house felt different. The same furniture, the same quiet. But now every shadow seemed alive. Every creak in the floorboards made my pulse race. I sat outside Emily's bedroom door for hours, just listening to her breathe. When morning came, sunlight spilled through the blinds like forgiveness. Emily walked into the kitchen, pale but smiling faintly. "Can I go back to school tomorrow?" she asked. I almost laughed. "Not yet, sweetheart. Maybe next week." Later, Miller called. "They confessed," he said. "They'd been watching you for weeks. They planned the whole thing, your routines, your route, Emily's bus stop. They thought you lived alone and wouldn't go to the police." "They were wrong," I said quietly. He hesitated, then added, "You handled yourself better than most would have." After the call ended, I stood outside for a long time, breathing in the crisp morning air. The street was calm, the world ordinary again. But I wasn't the same woman I'd been 2 days ago. Sometimes being a mother means comfort. Sometimes it means sacrifice. And sometimes it means standing face to face with darkness, refusing to back down, and winning. I looked back at Emily through the window, sitting at the table with her cereal, sunlight in her hair, and for the first time since that terrible phone call, I smiled. Because fear hadn't beaten us.